All right, I'll start with this. I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that.
Just tell me, head on the block now, does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? He gets outboxed, yeah?
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to the channel. The boxing world is buzzing about the rematch between Daniel Dynamite Dubois and the unified heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk. The first fight was controversial, and now the stakes are even higher. Experts are giving their predictions. Can Dubois win, or will Usyk prove too skilled? We're breaking down the expert predictions for this heavyweight clash. Simon Jordan believes this is Dubois' time. He sees Dubois as a ferocious beast who has earned his praise. Jordan was impressed with Dubois' entrance into Wembley Stadium, like a true gladiator, and sees Dubois maturing. Jordan expects a brilliant event, but says Dubois needs to win inside the distance because a points victory is unlikely.
I said it to Oleksandr Usyk, and there's no favoritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious beast. Yeah, absolutely. and I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him that he's coming out of himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight. Do
you believe that he can get it done inside the distance?
I think he has to get done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever, July 19th, brilliant fight.
Daniel Dubois is confident for this rematch. Dubois says that as a fighter, you want to beat the best. He believes Usyk has had his time, and now it's his time to take over. He is confident, ready, and focused. Dubois stands by his belief that his body shot in the first fight was legitimate, calling it a proper clean shot. He says he has another chance to settle the score and erase any doubts, and that he has returned as a changed fighter. He's excited to prove how much he has evolved. Here's Daniel Dubois and his mindset in the first fight.
A fighter, you see them and you see what they've done, and then, you know, when you get the opportunity, I want to win. I want to beat him as well. He's been up there a while, and he's had his day. So now is my time. I'm really confident and ready to fight.
Do you still try to tell us that 2 years ago in Poland you beat Oleksandr Usyk?
It was about that, you know. It was, in my opinion, that was a proper body shot. I mean, you know, I could go over it, but it was a body shot that landed, and now I have a chance to clear up the controversy, you know, just wipe the slate clean. You know, I've come back, you guys have seen I've come back a new man, a different man, a new fighter, and I'm just excited to show that I'm on the rise.
Teddy Atlas respects both fighters, especially Oleksandr Usyk, with whom he has a close connection. Atlas also admires Daniel Dubois, acknowledging he has faced challenges. Atlas says that boxing is about overcoming adversity. He believes Dubois is developing into a true champion. Teddy Atlas on Dubois' growth.
I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body, it shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight. The bottom line was, at the end of the day, in both Joyce, it's about overcoming. Boxing and fighting is about overcoming. Yeah, it's look up the definition in Webster's of boxing, fighting. I don't know what you're going to find exactly. Marcus of Queensberry rules, putting gloves on, pugilism. For me, the definition of fighting is overcoming. That's it. Overcoming. To be a champion, somewhere along the line, you got to find a way to overcome. And Dubois found that.
Atlas felt Dubois gave in during the Joyce and Usyk fights. However, he lauded Dubois for his comeback. Atlas believes Dubois took 3 comeback fights to prove something to himself and discover his true character. For Dubois, it was about living with pride. Atlas on Dubois' redemption arc.
Yeah, he gave in. I thought he gave in. He broke down. Mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, physically, but I think more mentally. in both the Joyce fight and Usyk fight. But he came back, he redeemed himself, and he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights, and those fights, I think he would have fought them for free. At least the first 2, because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was, finding out what kind of man he was. It was really about living the rest of his life with pride instead of the opposite, with some shame. It was really about being able to get up every day and go outside and feel good about who walks outside on the road and what people are going to see. It was really about looking in the mirror and liking what was looking back at him.
Duke McKenzie believes Dubois will lose to Usyk again. McKenzie says Dubois will be outboxed and possibly stopped. McKenzie puts Usyk on a different level. While respecting Dubois and acknowledging his improvement, McKenzie doesn't think Dubois can beat Usyk, though he can beat every other heavyweight. Duke McKenzie's direct prediction:
Just tell me, head on the block now, does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? He gets outboxed, yeah?
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
Tony Bellew says Dubois is more mature and aware of what it takes to win. Bellew says Dubois simply had enough and quit in their first fight, but has grown since then. He sees Dubois as dangerous going into the rematch. Despite this, Bellew believes Usyk's skill will break Dubois down, expecting Usyk to win. Tony Bellew on Dubois' current standing and the fight's progression.
He knows himself now, though, Jim.
Yeah.
So he knows how hard it is, how tough it is. I believe the first fight with him that he'd had enough. He'd had enough, and he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career, where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake. I think he's shown that he can overcome difficult times in fights now. And I think the victory over Anthony Joshua is going to propel his confidence levels to an all-time high. So I think he's well in this fight. I think he's a super dangerous challenger. And he'll go into it with a lot of belief. But I believe that belief will get shrunk. As the rounds pass and as the shots start getting landed on him, the questions will be asked of him again. Oleksandr Usyk will be victorious.
Tony Bellew describes Oleksandr Usyk as an anomaly and a genius, operating on a different level. Bellew says Usyk is the talent boxing needs. While all reigns end, he doesn't believe Dubois will end Usyk's. He is picking Usyk to win again, likely by late stoppage or points. Bellew says Usyk has overcome fighters like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua and will do the same to Dubois.
This guy's an anomaly, he's a freak, he's the genius that boxing needs. This guy is, I can't put it into words how good he is and what he does, Jim, but ultimately all good things have to come to an end. Eventually, yes, but I just don't think Daniel Dubois is the man to bring it to an end.
So you go Usyk again?
I'm going Usyk again, and I think by late stoppage, if not points.
Stoppage?
I think he can stop him. Yeah, I just think he figures it out. It's what his mindset and the frequency he's on is a different level to everybody else. It's like this guy's gone up against a 6'9" monster in Tyson Fury and figured them out. Yeah. This guy's gone up against one of the biggest punchers in boxing in Anthony Joshua and figured them out twice. He's already beaten Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is a big, strong guy. Immense power. I give him all the credit in the world. And he's overcome many demons, but he hasn't shown us yet that he can get this job done over 12 rounds. And I just don't see him stopping Oleksandr Usyk.
Daniel Dubois has issued a warning for the rematch, declaring his intention to put Oleksandr Usyk to sleep for good this time. He wants to nail Usyk to the canvas and leave no doubt. While respecting Usyk, Dubois believes his current speed and power will be too much. He promised a brutal war and vowed to tear Oleksandr Usyk apart and end his career. Dubois' bold prediction:
Put him to sleep properly this time. I want to nail him to the canvas.
So categorically, Oleksandr Usyk, who's a great fighter, cannot take this version of Daniel Dubois' speed and power.
No way. No way. This time it's going to be proper war. Give you guys a bloodbath and, just tear him up, put him to sleep.
Do you think this is the end of his career?
It will be. I'll make sure it is. I want to see England stop for that day, and, you know, lifting the crown and lifting all the belts up. I want to see the whole world stop. This will be the biggest fight in the world, and I want all eyes on it. So, yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be historic and powerful and massive. I can't wait.
Chris Eubank Jr. notes that Daniel Dubois is on a strong run. He says Usyk is also riding high. Eubank Jr. believes the fight will be decided by mindset. Chris Eubank Jr. on the mental game.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
Oleksandr Usyk says boxing is hard and that he respects all fighters, including Daniel Dubois. He respects everyone who trains and competes. Usyk on respecting his opponent.
It's a good fighter. It's a boxer. Listen, I respect all who boxing in gym because I know it's very hard. I respect all my opponent. Daniel too,
including him. Yeah.
Promoter Frank Warren is excited about the fight. Warren says the fighters know each other well. Warren says Usyk has weaknesses that were nearly exposed in their first fight. He says Daniel Dubois knows what to do and believes it will be historic, especially with the belts on the line. Frank Warren on the fight's significance.
Well, it is, but they know each other. They've been in the ring together. They shared a ring together. I know he can hurt him. I know that Usyk, who I've got great admiration for, he's beaten every British fighter that he's been in with. But I believe that he has weaknesses, and it was nearly exploited in that first fight. I mean, that's the punch I always felt would give him problems. So Daniel knows what he's got to do in this next fight, and it's going to be a great fight. And as I said, it's historical because of the belts and so forth. If he comes through that, how bad is that? 48 years I've been doing this now. I mean, for him to come through and do that, heavyweight champion, and I've looked after a few British heavyweight world champions, but I think that would be something special. The first guy to hold the 4 belts, that's historical.
So there you have it, a range of opinions from boxing's most respected names. This rematch is shaping up to be a classic. Will Dubois shock the world, or will Usyk continue his reign? Who are you picking in the Dubois versus Usyk rematch, and why? Drop your predictions in the comments. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Check out our other videos for more analysis. Thanks for watching.